Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you on a week-to-week basis looking around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, technologies, services, and products as we move through the 21st century. And as we go through severe climate change and we're having more and more horrendous natural weather events and also earthquakes and other natural calamities all across the earth, how we're going to be able to protect the people and to enhance their quality of life, and rather than just try to protect it and rebuild after all this is over with. And so we're looking at the best practices from the standpoint of how can we actually put these in, implement, and have people comfortable with these best practices before a disaster strikes. And I have two people sitting with me in the studio right beside me who are going to be talking about this from the standpoint of solar cooking and solar drying. And these are two experts that have been with us before. Dr. Marguerite Peg Barrett, she's the Dean Retired and a tenured professor of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, the George Washington University, also a volunteer of Solar Cookers International. And then sitting right next to her is Afzal Saeed, who is the Verizon Employee Environmental Excellence Award winner, also a Volunteer of the Year and a Certificate of Appreciation for the Waste Management Association. And he's also a volunteer with Solar Cookers International. And welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. And I want to extend your thanking for Executive Director of Solar Cooker, Julie Green. She wanted me to thank you for having Solar Cookers on.
Well, Julie's doing wonderful work, and just tell her we said thank you, and we'll be sharing the TV show with her. And this is just great, but to have the two of you here with us, it's really wonderful. Peg, tell us a little bit about the vision and mission as far as Solar Cookers International, please.
Sure. The idea with solar cooking is that we can have a zero emission cooking. So we don't have to cut down a tree. We don't have to create the smoke. We don't have to use kerosene. And if we can get that technology to everybody who's at the end of the road around the world, they're going to be healthier and our planet's going to be healthier.
And the whole thing about that, Peg, is I've been in 93 different countries, and 60 of those countries I've been in, actually I've been in places like that where you have wood smoke really right in the floor, burning and smoldering, kerosene lamps going on all around you. Right. It's really terrible because you have all this heavy particulate going right directly into their lungs. I mean, you're sitting there and breathing it directly in. But when you're talking about solar cookers, what are the three main types of solar cookers, Peg?
Sure. A box cooker looks like a cardboard box, but it's got a reflector that's going to put the sun in there, landing on a black pot, creating heat just like inside your car on a hot day. The concentrator cooker or parabolic cooker, a little more expensive to buy, but it can create very high heat. So you can fry something. And if the cuisine requires that people fry food, that might be what they need.
And I think, too, if I can interject a question, this is the kind you may want to use at health centers, school dormitories, or you know, educational facilities, these types of things. Something that's big preparation of food.
You can make steam, and then you can cook that food with steam.
Right.
The panel cooker, you can make one yourself. The box cooker, you can make one yourself. The panel cooker, again, it reflects the heat onto a black pot. You use a plastic bag to hold that heat in there, and by golly, it really cooks.
Yeah, and it's just really fantastic what you've been doing as far as what we've been, almost a year or 2 years we've been working on this, about how can we make these ourselves and use what we're calling repurposed materials, right, or disaster damaged materials in doing all this. So Afzal, tell us a little bit of why it's possible. We see these very sophisticated images, and now we're looking at something that you actually made out of scrap that you went around the neighborhood to find. So tell us about that.
See, this may look very sophisticated, but this is basically a pizza box converted into a solar cooker.
And I did that with my grandkids.
Yeah.
And we made cookies. We made cookies.
And I've been using like old cardboard boxes. You can even use any kind of thing that you can reflect a light on a pot, black color pot, and capture the heat in a plastic bag, clear plastic bag. As long as the sun is shining, you have a heat generator. I mean, you can do the food drying, water pasteurization, which is very important.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I tell you what's so incredible about this, and this is right behind us, is that you think first of all you have to have the manufactured solar cookers, and then you meet the two of you, and you say, well, we can make these out of scrap that's in the community. So we say, okay, we're going to do that, but we need aluminum foil or tin foil, and you say, no, we can just use plastic.
Sure.
So we keep taking it back to the lowest common denominator, what's actually in communities all across the globe, and then convert that into a solar cooker. And is that what you're telling us?
Yes, sir. And you can add one more thing to the reflector, old CDs and DVDs. On the back of it, there's a reflector. You can reflect the sunshine off that old DVDs or CDs laying in your computer room.
I love this. This is absolutely fantastic. This is how we would do things on the ranch. We don't want to tell that anybody publicly. It's our secret. But whatever's available is what you're going to use.
I mean, the basic concept is after a disaster, I don't have time to look for some solar cookers. I could use whatever is laying around my thing. I can utilize it to at least provide some hot meal, pasteurized water, and take it from there. At least I got some basic needs taken care of.
Yeah,
without any
and you're
relief.
doing it instantly. Tell us what we're looking at here, Afzal. I know this is work that you're actually doing, maybe Peg as well.
Yeah, yesterday we and my family and Peg, we made this box cooker. So we are like putting the newspaper in the bottom just to hold the top box on it, as an insulator too.
And that's as for insulation as well. Peg,
Exactly.
you're nodding your head?
Yep, exactly. We just put that thing together. Here we are, box cutter, cardboard
Yes.
box.
Oh, and okay, so we're in Puerto Rico, or we're in the American Virgin Islands, or we could be in Florida or Houston, Texas. And so what am I going to be looking for if I have nothing? I've lost my house. I have nowhere to go, so I may be staying in a school or something like that, but I need to cook something. And we're out of electricity. So what do we do, Peg? How do we find these things? Where we get it?
It would be awesome if you had a neighbor who already knew how to do the solar cooking. So that's one of Solar Cooking International's goals, is to have people over the world who could teach one another in time of a disaster. But you're going to need something flat, cardboard, pieces of wood. You're going to need something shiny. Could be the inside of a chip bag or some aluminum foil or some Mylar. There you go. There's the chip bags. So whatever you can find that's shiny, it's going to reflect the light. You're going to need a black pot. And
now, black pot, because it's going to concentrate and hold the most heat.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But if you just have any kind of pot, it could be white, as long as you have a pot, then you use that. Whatever you have is what you're using, correct?
Is what you've got, and you might just smear some ashes and water on to make your pot look blacker, because the light's going to come in, and when it hits that black, it's going to make it hot.
That's fantastic.
So that's
What
all
a
you're going to
great
look
idea.
through the rubble.
And pot does not have to be black from inside. It's only outside.
The outside. So it actually, in essence, it's going to capture that light, and then it's going to concentrate it into the inside of that pot itself.
Exactly.
So if you had a navy blue or a deep red or a purple, these pots now come in all different colors for the household. Any of that will work.
Exactly. Darker color will absorb more heat.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Now, why are we sitting around this now? I guess this is the box we were looking at earlier, that you're actually putting the newspapers as the insulator in the bottom? Okay.
So we've got 2 layers of box at this point, because it's insulated in between, and we're putting the chip bags and some aluminum foil to make the inside shiny.
I see. Okay. And again, to capture and hold the heat.
Exactly.
And this is what we're doing here. So we have 2 boxes. Again, that's to be insulation purposes.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And now tell us what we have here.
This is the final product of a box cooker. And you can see, like we use the windshield reflector. on the top for extra reflection.
I see. Something that you could get at just any retail store or
Yeah.
a hardware or anywhere like
a
that.
couple
Or in
of
your car.
dollars.
Or in your car.
Or in
Okay.
your car.
The top is the window thing that I had in my home. Window pane, like we covered it, use it.
Yeah. This is like on a storm window.
It's from window or
Right.
something.
So you really have, it's really whatever's around you in your home or in the community
Right.
or down the street, you know, where they have all the collection of the, you know, the rubbish bins. You
Exactly.
go down and you just start collecting things. As long as it's shiny and then it'll hold heat, that's all you really
Exactly.
need.
Exactly.
In this
That's
particular box
product,
cooker, you
for
don't
box
need
cooker,
to put your pot in a
and you can
plastic
see, like,
bag because
we use the
we're using the
windshield
glass pane on
Okay.
window pane on top.
I
reflection to
see.
keep the
Something
heat
that
inside
you
the
could get
box
at just
cooker.
any
And since we
retail
have two
store
boxes,
or
it's
a
already
hardware or
inside
anywhere like
there, a
that.
couple
Or in
of
your
And
car.
then also
Or in
too,
your
you had
car.
the
In your car.
old newspapers in the
There
bottom
is
of
the-
this.
is the
So, and
window
newspapers, as you know, is an
thing
excellent
that I
insulator.
had in my home.
And people
Window
in the old
pane,
days,
like
they were
we
using it
covered
to insulate their
to
homes.
use it
Yeah,
insulated.
yeah.
Exa-
This is like on a
one
storm
more
window.
thing you
It's
could
from
do is you
window
can
or
even
something.
bake a bread in
So
this
you
kind
really
of box
have,
cooker.
it's
So if
really
anybody
whatever's
wants a
around you
hot loaf
in
of
your home
bread
or in the
freshly
community
baked, this
or
box
down the
cooker can do
street,
that
you
job.
know,
If
where
the
they have
sun
all
is
the
out,
collection of the, you know, the rubbish bins.
And looking at
Exactly.
this,
You go down and you
also
just start
too,
collecting
this would
things.
be able to cook
As
vegetables,
long as it's shiny
beans,
and then it'll hold
mushrooms,
heat.
anything
like that.
That's all you really
Exactly.
Put
need.
your sweet potatoes
In
just
this
in there.
particular
Just like bake
box
them up
cooker,
enough
you don't
for
need
fat.
to put your
Now, do you need to
pot in
cover
a
it with
plastic
anything,
bag.
or you can
just
actually
Put the lid on the
windshield
pot.
glass
Just put the lid on the pot.
pane,
just
You
put
can
it
put
in.
window pane on
you
top.
can put
I
like
see.
no water.
Something that
Just
Just put
you
the
could get at
complete
just
egg in there.
any
And since we
retail
have
store
two
or
boxes,
a
it's
hardware or
already
anywhere like
inside
that.
in the
shelf.
And then also
Or in
too,
your
you
car.
have
Hardware.
solar cooked eggs.
Exactly.
Newspapers, as you know, is fantastic.
Well,
we run out of time.
And this is exciting. The old days they were using it to look at home. Hey, what do you see for the growth and development
One
of storm
more
solar
thing you
cookers
can
and
do is
international
you can even
communities?
bake a bread in
So
this
you
kind
really
of
have,
box.
I think
it's
the use
really
of water
whatever's
solar
around you,
in
home
disaster
or in the
recovery
community,
camps.
Right.
or
We need
down
to
the street, you
draw
know,
the attention
where
to
they have
that.
all the collection of the, the rubbish
And
bins.
looking at
You
this,
go down and you
also
just start
too,
collecting
be able
things.
to
You
cook
have to figure out
As long
which
as
kind
it's
of cooking is
shiny
gonna
and then it'll
work
hold
best.
heat.
Whatever
That's all,
it is.
that's all you really
Exactly.
need.
Put your sweet potatoes
In
just
this
in there.
particular
Just like bake
box
them up. You
product,
can't just
you
drop
don't
them in
need
that
to
house
put
factory.
your
Now, do you need to
pot
cover
in
it
a
with
plastic
anything,
bag.
or you can
Just
actually
Put the lid on the pot.
glass
Just put the lid on the pot.
pane.
You can
And
put
window
thank you,
pane on
viewers,
top.
for being with us.
There's
This
no
is
water.
really exciting to
Put
see
the
how you
complete
can take
egg
all
in
this
there.
disaster refuge,
It's
hardware,
already
trash,
inside
down in the
there.
shelf. And then also too, you have harvest because solar cooked eggs. Newspapers, as you know, is fantastic. We run out of time. And this is exciting. The old days they were using it to look at home. Hey, what do you see for the growth and development of storm solar cookers and international communities? So you really have, it's really whatever's around you, home or in the community, or down the street, you know, where they have all the collection of the rubbish bins.
And looking at
You
this,
go down and
also
just start
too,
collecting
be able
things.
to cook
As
vegetables,
long as it's shiny and then it'll hold heat. That's all you really need.
Put your sweet potatoes
In
just
this
in there.
particular
Just like bake
box
them up. You
product,
can't just
you
drop
don't
them in
need
that house
to
factory.
put
Now,
your
do you need to
pot
cover
in
it
a
with
plastic
anything,
bag.
or you can
Just
actually
Put the lid on the pot.
glass
Just put the lid on the pot.
pane.
You can
And
put
window
thank you,
pane on
viewers, for
top.
being with us. This is really exciting to see how you can just take all this disaster refuge, hardware, trash, down in the shelf. And then also too, you have harvest because solar cooked eggs. Newspapers, as you know, is fantastic. We run out of time. And this is exciting. The old days they were using it to look at home. Hey, what do you see for the growth and development of storm solar cookers and international communities? So you really have, it's really whatever's around you, home or in the community, or down the street, you know, where they have all the collection of the rubbish bins.
And looking at
You
this,
go down and
also
just start
too,
collecting
be able
things.
to cook
As
vegetables,
long as it's shiny and then it'll hold heat. That's all you really need.
Put your sweet potatoes
In
just
this
in there.
particular
Just like bake
box
them up. You
product,
can't just
you
drop
don't
them in
need
that house
to
factory.
put
Now,
your
do you need to
pot
cover
in
it
a
with
plastic
anything,
bag.
or you can
Just
Put the lid on the pot.
glass
Just put the lid on the pot. You can
And
put the
thank you, viewers, for being with us. This is really exciting to see how you can just take all this disaster refuge, hardware, trash, down in the shelf. And then also too, you have harvest because solar cooked eggs. Newspapers, as you know, is fantastic. We run out of time. And this is exciting. I love all these things to look at. Oh, hey, what do you see for the growth and development of stormwater? So you really have, it's really what's around you, home or in the community or down the street, at where they find all the collection of the rubbish. And looking at this, go down, also start collecting to be able to cook vegetables. It's shiny, and then mushrooms and things. That's all you really need.
In this particular mock product, you don't need to put
Now, do you need to cover
plastic
it?
bags. You use plastic space.
It's really exciting to see how you can take all this disaster and where it's down in the shelf. And also to harvest because it's all and this is exciting. I love all these things to look at. Oh, hey, what do you see for the growth and development of stormwater? So you really have situations around you, home or in the community or down the street, where they find all the collection of earthquake and rubbish. And looking at this, go down, also start collecting to be able to cook vegetables. It's shiny, and then mushrooms and things. That's all you really need.
In this particular mock product, you don't need to put
Now, do you need to cover
plastic bags. You use plastic space.
Take all this disaster and where it's down in the shelf. And also to harvest because it's all and this is exciting. I love all these things to look at. Oh, hey, what do you see for the growth and development of stormwater? So you really have situations around you, home or in the community or down the street, where they find all the collection of earthquake and rubbish. And looking at this, go down, also start collecting to be able to cook vegetables. It's shiny, and then mushrooms and things. That's all you really need.
In this particular mock product, you don't need to put
Now, do you need to cover down the street, looking at this, go down, also start collecting vegetables. It's shiny, and then mushrooms and things. That's all you really need.
in this particular mock product, you don't need to put
down the street, looking at this, go down, also start collecting vegetables. It's shiny, and then mushrooms and things. That's all you really need.
in this particular mock product, you don't need to put plastic
Thank you.